Really efficient on early downs. We have a number of benchmarks that we want to attain during a game. One of them is being, north of 65% on first and second down. On first down, we were a little bit below that. On second down, we were really efficient. We were just under 70% of getting halfway from what we gained on first down, which I thought was a huge step in the right direction. We're really, really good, on third down. I think we were 6 of 11 on third down. So it puts us at, I looked at it from both two games. The first two games, we're at 50% on third down, which is a huge step of what we wanted to be able to achieve coming off of training camp, coming off of the spring, something that we looked at, a lot. And the kids played hard. They prepared well all week. They played really hard, and at the end of the day, the guys that needed to make plays made plays, and we did it. So we want to get 4 yards on first and 10, at least, and then we want to get halfway on second down. So, it puts us if we're at second and 10, obviously we want to put ourselves, in a manageable third down. So we look at all that, but that's something that we have looked at a ton since last January. How can we be better on first and second down, and then how can we be better at third down? And those are two things. And it's just it's always interesting to see on Sundays, when coach puts up the things that we did well, and how we took care of the football. And if you're always in the green in those, you're usually in a positive result in the game. Whether it's third down conversions, taking care of the football, explosive plays, everything like that. And we did that.
Backs have been incorporated in the passing game through the first 2 weeks. What type of value does that provide to the offense as you built those routes into your
Huge, and it's been a big point of emphasis throughout the off season, and then through training camp of making sure that we get people the ball that need the football, but then also making sure that we can put the ball in different people's hands, because with our quarterback situation, the ball can find whomever based off of his progressions. And the backs are a big point of emphasis. First game, I think we had 9 guys touch the ball in receptions, and then we had 12 this past game. And so that's been a big point, whether it's a tight end, running back, or receiver. And the big thing I think that we've always stressed to those guys is getting out in their checkdowns. I think Darius had 4 catches, and I want to say 3 out of the 4 were all in checkdowns. And that's just a credit to the offensive line holding up in protection. That's a credit to the quarterback getting through his progression and then finding the check down. JoJo ended up catching one on third down. I think it was third and 6. He caught one that was a little swing out to the left, and that was late in the progression for Max, and he found him, and we did a good job. I think Frank Bierman was the one blocking on that play, and that was really nice, well executed play. So excited about the impact that everyone's making, and excited about the guys that are touching the football and making plays.
Do you think in a broader football sense the word check down is a pejorative and negative? Is that something that you see?
I don't. I think Darius ended up turning one into a 17-yard play. He had another one that turned into a 16-yard gain, and I think it's a credit to, like I said, the offensive line, because sometimes it might be in drop back, sometimes it might be in run action, but it also is, I think Max does an excellent job of 2 things. When he feels those underneath defenders get out, he'll either show that he's going to take a shot and he'll come down knowing that the shot isn't there, or if the picture in his mind is just screwed up from the start, he'll find it immediately. And it goes back to what I said probably in the first time I talked about Max's his high-end processing ability. If the picture is screwed up right from the start, he knows exactly where to go right from the get-go. And when I say that, when it's screwed up from the start, I'm talking about defensively, when the defense does something that maybe he wasn't necessarily prepared for on that snap or anticipating, not necessarily with the offensive scheme.
Nevada's defense has the interior line and linebackers been doing a good job
Yep.
shutting down the run. They play a little zone.
Yep.
What are you seeing out of the defense?
The 2 defensive linemen are really, really talented, 0 and 8. I want to say, I think 8 is transfer from Texas. They do a really good job. They're very active. They do an excellent job of rushing the passer. They play hard. They play extremely hard. They play with an edge. And I think that's a credit to their coaching staff. Coach Ione does an awesome job of running that defense. And obviously Coach Choate is involved with it as well, the head coach. And I think they get their guys to play hard because the first thing that you look at when you study a defense is how they run to the football. And those guys run to the football. They play extremely hard, very sound with what they do schematically. I'm excited. I'm excited for the challenge and excited to go up against them.
If the running game's going to get some traction.
Excuse me?
If the running game's going to start to get some traction,
Yep.
what has to happen?
I think they just have to continue to execute the play. I think offensive football, at times, everyone wants this immediate success and immediate satisfaction with offensive football, and it takes time. Obviously we're up against time because you got 10 more Saturdays, and I think that's the thing that we have to continue to do. Those five guys up front, as well as the tight ends. They have to gel. They have to continue to work, and we've done better this week through Tuesday and Wednesday's practice. I'm excited to see them play, but I think it takes that time where, all right, those five guys have to work together. They have to do a good job of communicating up front and executing their techniques that Coach Cali wants, and they're doing that. It just hasn't come together on a Saturday, and it's going to. I have full confidence in those guys. I think they're led by Greg Johnson up front, at center. I mean, he's doing an excellent job. In his first 2 games of playing center, of communicating, and then I'm excited. I think just across the board, just the leadership that with Quinn and Coop and Tay, and they've done an excellent job of that. I think we just have to put it together, and I think it's going to happen, sooner rather than later. But again, we're up against the clock with that, and we got to be able to do it, and we got to be able to execute on Saturday.
When Christian Driver entered the transfer portal, what attracted you guys to him, and what have you seen out of his development here?
Ooh, he's a special kid, special player. I love his athleticism. Obviously you watch him. If you just watch him during warm-ups, he can run. And I think like the way he moves is effortlessly. I think one of the things that has stood out to me with how much he's improved, because it's a trait that you can improve. A lot of people think, when people have elite ball skills, they're usually given that trait. But like Christian has done an excellent job of going through the ups and downs of learning the offense, going through times when maybe he was dropping a few balls during spring ball, dropping a few balls during the summer, and in all reality, like he's done an excellent job of changing that part of his game. He's attacked the football in practice. He's attacked the football in games. He had the one on the seam. And then we talked about it right after the play on the sideline. He's going to make that play. We're excited for him to make that play. But then he came back later in the game with a touchdown of his own. But I think he has a number of different things that we can use him as. We use him a ton in the motion game. We use him a ton in all our offense. And I think he just has to continue to develop and continue to get better every day.
Can you sense that his father was a pro athlete?
Yeah.
That comes from
Yeah. It shows out. And it's cool. It's cool to see, like, his dad has come to a couple practices during training camp and had a chance to talk to him. And I see the way Christian works. It's obvious that Donald really put a lot into it, obviously, and helping him get prepared for this opportunity. And Coach Simon's doing an awesome job of continuing to work with him every day, because he, as you can see, he's not an every down player, but we're working towards getting him to be that and become that one time for us.
Like, how would you describe kind of the offense in the offseason, what you guys were trying to do, what we're seeing on Saturday?
Yeah, it was kind of fun because you put a lot of time and effort into the passing game. I mean, it's been a thing that, number one, we've studied. We've continued to work at. We addressed it, with Max when we had to get Max. And I think, too, the other thing, like, you watch Drake and Dylan perform in practice, and they're holding the standard, too, that Max is setting. And I just think it was fun to be able to see, like, in the game, like, I wasn't necessarily thinking about it. I was just attempting to score as many points as I possibly could. But then when you sit back on Saturday night and then Sunday morning and you reflect on it, it was really just a credit to the players. You call certain plays, and again, I've said it before, I have a ton of confidence in all 11 guys out there that they're going to be able to execute the play, and they did. And it was just cool to see. I mean, it was fun. I just want to continue to change our best and get better this week and see how we can attack Nevada.
What do you like about the two-back look?
It's fun because I like Marcus and Darius out there at the same time. I think that they're two elite players. Obviously getting Darius back was awesome, and the relationship he has with his players, with his teammates in the running back room and then the rest of the offense. I know everybody was excited for him to get out there, but they're two unselfish players too. They don't care who gets the credit. I made a point earlier in the week about Darius had a run I think that got to the 2, and then Marcus went in on his next play and scored, and Darius was the first one to be able to celebrate with him when he came off. And so it's cool to see both of those guys, and then JoJo take that opportunity when he's in on third down at times, and they're doing a great job of being selfless in that room.
How important was it to get some of the other guys, the younger guys, in an opportunity, and then also you had the green light, it looked like, to not just, hey, let's hand it off and
Yeah.
let's hang out, let them do some stuff.
Yeah, it was fun. I was excited to get Drake in there, number one. Drake, Coach was awesome about it, because at times, like, you're in that 4-minute mode, and you want to be respectful of the game, and but we also want to make sure that we continue to develop our players, and I think that's the most important thing when it comes to it. And we got the opportunity to call run action pass with Drake and see him execute a pass down in the green zone, and then just control the offense and have command of the offense. The best learning moment of him was, he's in that 4-minute mode and he broke the huddle a little bit too early, and then we had a false start, because the line's just down in their stands for too long. And it's those moments that those guys got to learn. Phillip Daniels, the same thing. Those 15 snaps that he got, or however many it was, there's nothing like those game reps, and having the opportunity to get them in and then performing the way they did is a credit to them. But ultimately, it goes back to our starters and the guys that are in there, them taking the approach of how they took that game and taking advantage of the opportunity to be able to get better and put up the points that we did.
Greg, you've added more motions and shifts into the system over the past 2 years. How much work has it taken to orchestrate and implement that, and then what type of impact has it had creating space and setting up leverage?
So I think there's two things that you do when you use motion. Number one, the obvious one that most people think is for confusion. And I think that does one thing. My philosophy and our philosophy offensively is we want to make the defense work as much as we can pre-snap or post-snap. That's what I think every offense wants to do. And then the second one is to gather information. I think that's pretty well known as far as what you want to do. But I think with us, like with what we're doing with our motion, is like we want to be able to put people in different spots. So it is hard. It is hard on the defense. You can track certain guys on our offense, and they might be lining up in multiple different spots throughout the course of a game. That's pretty easy to be able to see. But I think it takes a lot for the guys on offense to do what we're doing, to be able to move as much as they can. They have to put the unrequired work in throughout the week, and then the quarterback has to be able to manage it all. That's the hard thing. I mean, our calls in huddle, sometimes they can be short, sometimes they can be lengthy, and it's one thing, to just move, but like we're moving with a purpose right now, and I think it's putting our guys in positions to make plays, which is shown by the amount of guys touching the football.
Is there, you use some more, I'd say up-tempo or whatever
Yep.
you call it. Do you think, Max, that's a thing you'll use more?
Yep. Yeah, he's very under control in it. I was joking around with Coach Fleck. He would do it the whole game, and he loves it. And we can run our offense out of it. Again, I go back to the same thing I've been saying this whole time. It's a credit to our players. They understand what we're attempting to do and what we're working on accomplishing, and they're executing it. And the tempo is good because it obviously can be used like at the end of the North Carolina game in a 2-minute mode. But then we can use it throughout a drive, change the pace. It's different than what it used to be, where we were always a no huddle, and the tempo never really changed. We might speed it up a little bit, but it really probably wasn't noticeable. Now it's noticeable. Maybe it creates an advantage. Maybe it can put us in a position to generate an explosive or a chunk play. But I love it, and I love the way the guys have attacked it, and they've gotten better throughout it.
I mean, there's gonna be a time at the season too that, inevitably at some point maybe, it's not going great, just to change it, just to spark or whatever.
Yeah, I think we can use it that way. But I think, like, ultimately it's just I have a set plays that I go into the game, knowing that, okay, the guys know that we could use these for particular tempos, and it might be one thing that I might not rep it all week, and then I call it in the game, and the guys do it. You know, it's fun to see. You go back to developing the offense. I forget who asked about that, but we banked all these reps through spring ball and banked all these reps in the summer. You know, where we can go the whole week and it might not be in the game plan. And then all of a sudden they're doing something to us defensively. We might want to change what we're doing, and they can do it and they can go execute it. Again, players did that in the offseason.
You saw Marcus and Darius both get double-digit touches in this game, but not over 20. Is that kind of the plan going forward at 1A, 1B, try to make sure both stay healthy considering their injury histories?
Yeah, they're both one. You know, I don't really look at it as a 1A, 1B. They're both one. And that's the plan, and that's what we're working to achieve. I think they've been very unselfish. I want guys that are in there fresh. You know, I look at it as we have 2 short yardage backs, we have 2 first and second down backs, and in all reality, we have 3 third down backs, and they all can do it. And in all reality, like I include JoJo in that short yardage too. You know, they all take that room. They're selfless. They do what they're supposed to do. They're working very, very hard, and they really, really enjoy being, I guess, a running back by committee, because they know at any point one of them can spark a big run, one of them can put the ball in the end zone. But it's fun to see. It's fun to see in this day and age when 2 guys that are as talented as them, as selfless as they are as well.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
You know, I think the biggest thing was I thought our technique and our fundamentals, as far as our guys, you know, getting off the football, using our hands, our vision, our pad level, you know, our communication. I thought from game 1 to game 2, I thought we took some really good strides. And, you know, obviously this week, continuing to try to see that get even further and go even better. But I thought from game 1 to game 2, I like that. And, you know, just the little fundamentals, the little technique things, whether it's our stance, it's our get off, it's our first step, it's our, you know, our pad level and our bend, just trying to make sure that's going to get cleaned up every single week.
What stood out to you about Anthony Smith and Devin Eastern's performances?
I think how physical they played, you know, the decision to come off the ball and attack the blocks, you know, to be physical at the point of attack, not to go around people, to go through people. I thought that was, you know, coming right out the gate to start. I thought that was the decision they made, how they wanted to play that day. And I thought that really set the temperature for the defense.
With that as diverse run game and the option elements, how critical is eye discipline and detailed edge sets in this game?
Yeah, there's a lot of triple option, basically foundation or principle of what we're going to play this week. You know, going all the way back to probably when they were at Montana State. You know, there's, you know, watching all the different places they've been through the years and the style of offense that they're playing. It's, you know, we're going to have to defend all 3 phases. There's, you know, they do a really good job getting the ball out in the perimeter, you know, attacking the middle of the defense, forcing you to be disciplined, forcing you to do your job every single play. And that's been the number one focus really starting on Sunday, is making sure our, you know, every guy does their job, everyone's in their gap, playing assignment sound football. It's almost like you want to go back and take the football away and, you know, have everyone do their job on that rep, you know, whether it's the power read game, it's the quarterback run game, it's the read option. But they're going to have different phases to it, and we got to be really disciplined all day, and we got to make sure our guys don't try to do too much, and they just do their job every single rep.
Talk about fundamentals, some missed tackles as a trend coming out of North Carolina. How many did you chalk up for them to miss, and how did you like it?
Yeah, we thought we had, you know, going back and watching the tape, we had us at 6 for 29 yards after the initial miss. So it's something that, you know, that's been emphasis since day 1, all the way back in March, spring football, and it's going to be the emphasis all year. You know, we've gone tackling circuit, you know, both days of practice, and, you know, we're everything from bite the ball to wrap and roll to press the hip, you know, half-man tackle. We're going to continue to work them all every single day, but that'll be a huge emphasis. And, you know, we talked to our guys, stop the run. We were trying to come out, wanted to hold them really to 0 last week, and we didn't do that, and going to continue to build and get better in that area.
When was the last time you schemed against an offense that can go 5 wide, but then also comes back and plays a little bit of full house?
Yeah, I think, you know, we've seen it definitely in the past. I feel like there's been teams, you know, back when I was in the CAA, you'd see this. I feel like there's teams in the Big Ten, you could see this, you know, some of the different things that Indiana did last year, where they, you know, there was some different triple option element to it. Some of the different things that Maryland's done with the RPO game, but I feel like we've seen this. It's just, you know, dialing it back in. We haven't seen it yet this year, maybe to the same exact extent. Last week, there were definitely plays where we had to play the quarterback, we had to play the dive, and then we had to play some type of either the bubble or the RPO, whichever route concept they had. So there were different guys in every phase that had to be really disciplined with their eyes, really disciplined with, how we were taking it away. This week it's going to be a little bit different, but, it's just making sure, every play, because it could be an extra offensive lineman in the game. It could be a couple tight ends in the game. It could be 3 guys in the backfield. They've shown a little bit of everything, and it's really about our guys' eye discipline, our communication, and making sure we're getting aligned. I got to go back and figure that one out, but they had almost had one play there. So I think we had a 4th and 1. So
What does that say about, the kind of domination that was?
that's going into the game. That was the number one thing. Stop the run, get them off track. We wanted to contain the quarterback. We wanted to limit the quarterback making explosive plays, and I thought our guys were dialed in. And I thought we were physical at the point of attack. We wanted to collapse the pocket. We wanted to collapse the gaps up front, and we wanted to give some different presentations. And I thought the guys handled that really well, and it kept them off track, which was the number one goal. Going from North Carolina, where we didn't keep them off track, to last week, where I thought we had a lot more, 3rd and 5 pluses, and that's going to be one of the number one things this week. You look at an offense that's almost 55% on 3rd down, and it's constantly 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. They're not off track very much, and it's going to be the same goal this week going back into it.
Coach, looking at the Nevada defense, or Nevada offense, so they have another mobile quarterback, spreads the ball around, got a good running back, run a little wildcat. What are you seeing from their offense?
Yeah, they're very multiple. The quarterback's a very good football player. He's got a strong arm. He'll put the ball out in the perimeter. He's also a dual threat. I think he's their 2nd leading rusher right now. He's dangerous with the ball in his hands. It's very similar to what we saw last week from Rhode Island, in that term that, every play we got to account for the quarterback in the run game. The backs, I think one of them, I coached against Garwo a couple of years ago at Boston College. He's a very good back. I know the kid's 6. He's very talented. He's a big play at any point. Last week he broke that one down to the 4-yard line. Probably put him on top there if he doesn't fumble the football. But and then 4 is a big play guy. I mean, at any point he can take a ball from wherever and put it in the end zone. So the backfield, they have a lot of talent right there. They play really 4 guys throughout the season. There'll be different, guys we get to account for in the backfield. The wide receivers have really good length. They have really good size. They do a good job of getting the ball out in the perimeter, trying to create some one-on-ones, trying to get guys in space. They're going to try to get those matchups during the day. But, I think overall they're very balanced. The tight end does a really good job blocking in the green zone, in the red zone. He's a guy they're going to try to get the football to. I think he's got 2 touchdown receptions on the year. But they're very well balanced, and they use their guys. There's one time they're going to come out, it's going to be 11 personnel. 2 plays later, they're going to have an extra offensive lineman in the game. They're going to have 3 backs on the field. They'll be flexed out and empty. Then the next time they'll all be in the backfield. So they'll do a lot of different looks. They'll give us a lot of different pictures. And it's not going to carry over from week to week. We'll see it. Okay, they've run this play 4 or 5 times. Well, it was all versus SMU. Okay, well, this one, there's a tip here. No, they ran it all versus, Georgia Southern. So every week it's a little bit different. We're going to have to figure that out early in the game. Okay, what is their game plan? How are they trying to attack us? Who are they trying to get the ball to? What's going to be their perimeter game? What's going to be their downhill game? And, we have to get a read on that early, and, we have to do a great job coaching that up from the sideline. This is the first time. Yeah, his presence in the room, the way he coaches his guys, the way the guys want to play for him. And Coach Monroe does an awesome job. That's, the way he handles the back end, what he brings to meetings every single day. He'll come in, he's already got, hey, I really like this coverage this week, or what are we going to do versus this, how are we going to handle, every different aspect. And then the presence that he has in the room, it's awesome working with him, and really our defensive staff in general. I love working with our guys. I think we get a close group of guys, and I think our guys are very good with the players. But, Nick does a great job, in the meeting room, on the field, the relationships with the players, the way he recruits. I can't say a bad thing about him.
How much fun has it been for you to maximize the versatility and skill set of Jack Henderson in this system?
Yeah, he's a fun guy to use. Yeah, I think, last week, he obviously steps up, makes a huge play in that game, but using him in the blitz game, using him in different packages, the way that he plays, leverages the field and, how physical he is at the point of attack. He's a guy that's versatile. There's a lot of different things we can do with him, and, we're going to continue to, keep doing different looks with him, whether it's in the box, it's out of the box, it's in different packages, we'll continue to try to use him in different areas and try to attack, maybe weaknesses of opponents with him because of the versatility he has.
How nice was it to get some of the younger guys in and some real experience and have them perform well, it looked like?
Yeah, it's anytime we can continue to get more guys reps, because as much as we can, whether it's on a Sunday night practice, it's on a Tuesday practice, we constantly want to put guys in a situation. Okay, how are we going to handle it? Can we make the checks? Can we make the play? What's the movement going to be? How are they going to be at the point of attack? How are they in coverage? We're constantly trying to get that, and if we can get that on a Saturday, that's huge. And getting those guys at home in front of our home crowd, which is awesome. Let them go out and fly around and have some fun and play football. The more we can get that, I'd love to get that. I thought last week we played a lot of players on defense, and that's the goal every week. As many guys as we can get. I talk to the guys all the time. Get in on special teams. Go make a play on special teams, and we'll find a role for you. We'll find a role for you on the defense and let you fly around. And whether it's on third down, it's on first down, it's on a red zone package, or wherever it is, we want to try to get guys as many reps as we can. Because I think we have a lot of really good football players on the defense here.
And in terms of that, how do you see Parrish? I mean, you got the interception. How do you see him progressing amongst that group?
Yeah, that was awesome to see. Yeah, I think, he's a guy, you watch him every single day in practice, there's going to be something better we're going to see. Last week in practice, it was I think it was the same defensive call. They ripped one, down the hash mark. He should have been there. He's not there. We get in the game, he gets a pick. It's just the development every day, and it's just so different, coming in June and, trying to get those reps and try to get the live reps as fast as the game is. Every day it's slowing down for him a little bit, and he's improving and taking those strides. And, he's in the film room. He's in walking through things. He's taking his steps in the back and enacting, getting all those different reps, So I think, what he was last week, he's going to be even better this week. And I can't wait to see what he's going to be in October and then November and in the future. And we're going to continue to try to get him in those situations. I didn't see that. Did you? Yeah, it was. I think one of the first third downs of the game, we put him in a different spot, and we're going to continue to use him in different spots. Really all those guys: Anthony, Ja, Strigg, JLR. Cody will play in different spots. Mav. We're going to move guys around a lot. We're going to put guys in different spots. We're going to ask them to do some different things, whether it's coverage or it's contain rush or it's working on a guard or a center. And we're going to try to find what we think may be a mismatch, or if we have something that's a tip that we can try to take advantage of, we're going to try to do that. And we felt early in the game we had a pitcher that we liked, and we wanted to try to get Strigg on the back, and just wanted to finish that play with a sack.
Is that just an example of kind of trying to confuse and have different personalities?
Well, he's a guy. I mean, his versatility. You can cover with him. You can drop him in the coverage. You can, he can play internal. He can play, rush a guard, rush a center. His versatility is just, you can do so many different things with him, and we want to make sure we're maximizing that. We don't want him to just be in one spot. We'll continue to do different things with a lot of the different guys on our front and really in our front seven, and then all different levels. We want to try to get guys in different spots.
You mentioned Nevada being able to convert 55% of third downs. Their quarterback has run for 16 first downs. What have you seen from him in his development, considering in 2021 you weren't here? He started for Colorado when they played Minnesota. Now he's a much, much different player than he was early in his career.
Yeah, obviously he's matured. He's a little bit older. Going back and watching the film from maybe those games, but I think they do a really good job of staying on track. He's done a really good job managing the game. He's thrown 0 interceptions right now. He's taking the throws that are available to him, and when the throw's not available to him, he has. Sometimes he scrambles, sometimes he throws it away, and he keeps them in good situations. He keeps them ahead of the sticks, and that's been the biggest thing. That when you watch their first 3 games, there's not a lot of third and off tracks. There's not a lot of behind the sticks, and they do a really good job of managing that. And the quarterback does a really good job of managing, where they are on the field at all times. And that's going to be our biggest thing is, we got to make sure it's not going to be in that third and shorter distances all day.
One more for Coach Edmund? With Coy, is it as simple as you put a little bit more on his plate last week, you put him into the dime package? Is it make sure he does really well in that role, then you add more? Or how do you kind of see that progression continue to go forward?
Yeah, I think every week it'll be different. It's, what is the offense? How do they attack you? What is the game plan? And then what are we going to do? And, we talk about us. Like Coach Monroe's message last week was about us. It was about family. It was about us. It was about controlling that. And, I think that's the number one thing. What does Coy do really well? How does he fit in this defense? And then where do we want to try to attack the offense with our strengths? And that's where if it's a package on first and second down, that's where he'll play that week. If it's a package on third down or, special teams, whatever it is, we're going to try to get our guys in those situations. And he's got a guy that, he has so much talent. He has so much versatility. We're going to continue to try to build that and put him in those roles. Last week, it was really the third down package early in the game. Later he came in and, made a couple good plays for us on first and second down. And we'll continue to build it, try to continue to give him those looks during the week. And, I'm excited about where he's going to go with it. But every week, like you said with Strigg, it could be a different guy every week. We're going to try to put guys in different spots. And, our packages, the first week to the second week, you saw different starters out there, different guys in different spots. And we're going to try to do that as much as we can.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys.